Today let's talk about the walking barrage, and for this video I want to be breaking it into two sections. The first section will be a quick overview of how the walking barrage fares against most enemy types and objectives, while the second section will be more of an in-depth guide and informational tips for those of you who want a bit more of a guided walkthrough. Without further ado, let's get straight into the video. In terms of automatons, the factory striders will take 2 direct hits to kill, hulks will take 1 direct hit to kill, tanks of all varieties will take 1 hit to kill, and yes, that includes the barrage taking 1 hit to kill. And you may ask, can you hit gunships and bot trips with the walking barrage? And yes, you can, but it will not kill dropships in a single hit, although I'm not really too sure about the gunships since they're very hard to hit. In terms of bot objectives, the detector tower will take 1 direct hit to kill, and the same goes for the stratagem jammer. In terms of AA mortar emplacements, it can destroy all the turrets in a single barrage. Fortresses can clear around 20 to 40% of the fortress if you place the walking barrage diagonally, or set the walking barrage up so that it can hit the majority of the turrets and bot fabricators in the fortress. In terms of command bunkers, it will also take 1 direct hit to kill those, so don't worry too much about that. Moving on to Terminids, in terms of Bile Titans, the walking barrage will take 1 direct hit to kill them. Similarly, the Charger and Behemoth will also take 1 direct hit to kill, and in terms of the Impaler, it will also again take 1 hit to kill. And Stalkers are fast, but also can be killed with the walking barrage if you set it up from behind you and run ahead, but don't worry, I'll talk about that a little bit more in depth in the second part of this video. In terms of Terminid objectives, the Shrieker Nest can be full cleared with 1 full barrage, the Spore Bloom will take 1 direct hit to kill, Eggs and Super Nests, if you use the walking barrage, you can clear again somewhere around 20 to 40% per barrage, but again, it really depends on how you set it up, and again, I'll talk a little bit more about that. But just to be clear, the walking barrage does not do too well against the eggs and bug nests that are facing in the opposite direction of the ongoing barrage. And in terms of illegal broadcasts and research stations, the walking barrage will of course clear those in a single hit as well. Now that we went through the enemy types, let's go through some tips and tricks for using the walking barrage effectively. To start off, let's quickly mention the duration and activation time of the walking barrage. It has a call-in time of 3 seconds, a cooldown time of 320 seconds when fully upgraded, and has a pattern of firing 5 salvos at an interval of 1 second per shot with a 3-second delay between salvos. So in terms of where to throw, if you're thinking either diagonally straight on or sideways towards the objective, you don't want to throw directly on top of the enemies that you're face to face with, as the majority of the barrage will hit behind them, so try to throw the stratagem at least 30 meters in front of the enemy units to maximize damage potential. How to hit the moving targets for like Bile Titans and Chargers, the best method I found for killing moving targets was to either stun them and throw the stratagem, which was better for situations where the enemy didn't know my location yet, or to throw the walking barrage at my feet and run forwards through the barrage, as this was more useful when enemies were actively trying to kill me. And note that the faster enemies will then tend to get hit when catching up to you and maximizes the chance of a kill. So another question you might have is, can the shield block hits? So yes, the shield emplacement can block a direct impact, but the shield generator backpacks can only block a nearby blast but not a direct impact from the walking barrage. An important part of using the stratagem effectively is learning the quote-unquote pattern, and by this I mean understanding the length and width of the barrage. So first, the length of the barrage will be anywhere between 100 to 135 meters from the original location, and the width of the barrage is around 50 to 60 meters. So also note that the initial salvos from the barrage will hit anywhere from a 10 to 20 meters from the beacon location. So you might be asking, now why is this useful to me? Well, since we know where the barrage tends to hit, it makes it easier for us to not friendly fire ourselves or our teammates. The safe location is around 50 meters from the beacon location, but you can get up to 30 to 40 meters out if you are behind cover, and that could be anywhere between a large wall or even a small rock. Both will protect you from the initial blast. So since we know the width of the barrage, not only does this help designate a kill zone, but it also suffices as another way to dodge the strike. Now, how many times have you thrown the stratagem just to run back or forward through the barrage, only to be forced to commit suicide accidentally? But did you know a better method for dodging the strike is to instead run to the right or left side of the initial beacon? I prefer the right side, as for me it seemed that the barrage would favor the left side to initiate the barrage compared to the right. So I have effectively survived every attempt when I ran to the right of the beacon. Now, some of you might be asking, since the walking barrage has a pretty long length, can it destroy a stratagem jammer from outside its jamming radius? And to that I say, a great question. I was wondering the same thing, but sadly it comes up short and cannot destroy the stratagem jammer while it is active. And as a final tip, a lot of people are stuck throwing the stratagem directly in front of them and their teammates. And don't get me wrong, this is an effective method for clearing out enemies, but you know from our initial discussion that because of the direction of the strike, it may cause the majority of the barrage to hit behind the targets as they approach you and your team. Instead, throw the walking barrage horizontally in front of your team. Not only will this be effective at blanket covering a larger area, but due to the width of the barrage being roughly 50 meters as we mentioned previously, this can effectively hit targets that continue to approach on top of your team members while allowing them to slowly retreat or hold their positions without being flanked by the enemies. Now, if there was anything I missed in this guide, please comment them below for your fellow Helldivers, and I hope this video helped you understand how to use the walking barrage effectively from now on, and gave you a bit more of a guided strategy you may have not thought of yet. If you did learn something new, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, or sharing this video. Thanks for watching, I'm Twilts, and I will see you in the next video.